We're here in something which is a new feature for this year, and this is the Complete Kit Car Hall of Fame. And it's a selection of cars that have been chosen for their sort of historic nature within, you know, kit cars as they've evolved over the years. And Jack Wood, editor of Complete Kit Car, has joined us today. Thank you, Jack.
That's okay.
And we're going to walk around, have a few look at a few of the cars, and tell you a little bit more about them. And the first car is literally number one.
Yes.
And you've got the book in your hand.
So, I mean, a lot of you will recognise this book. This was the book that got me into kit cars, but yeah, it was an absolute sales sensation. And then obviously out of this grew the low cost. So not technically a kit car, but very much about what we're about, which is DIY motoring. But yeah, we're really lucky to have this car. I mean, for years I thought it had disappeared. And Ron will be here tomorrow. Obviously, this is YouTube, so it won't work like that. But yeah, this is basically the start of a huge revolution in car building, and you can see the low-cost movement today in the Haynes roadster it sort of spawned is still going strong all around the world. Australia, America, everyone builds stuff like this, and it's all thanks to this book and this car.
And the other thing is, of course, people like MK, their cars evolved really from this chassis.
Yeah, so I mean, the cars now are quite far evolved from that. They might not necessarily look so much on the outside, but yeah, this is a very, very important car, and we're very pleased to have it. We're very pleased that it has an owner who is really keen on promoting it and keeping it around, because it's a part of our history that could have easily disappeared.
It could. And talking of history, we've got something here which is completely different.
Yes.
Very aptly called the Titchy.
Yep.
Now, it's got a mini kit sticker on the side, so
it's
fairly confident there's a mini engine under the back there.
Well, I think we should have a look. So I'm not sure. I believe.
Do you reckon?
Let's have a look. This one might have one. Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. This one does.
And I'm guessing this is a Barry Stimson, is it?
No, it's not.
Isn't it?
I actually, it's bad. I actually can't remember who designed this, but what I can tell you is, I'm not the tallest guy in the world. It's impossible to fit into it, even for me.
And you're shorter than me.
Yes, it's a no-go, but it's brilliant. And if you look at the front, this is something we love about the classic kit car movement, is we don't take ourselves too seriously, and as you can see, this is affectionately known as the grip bin.
And you can see really where that's come from as well.
Yeah. In fact, I did have someone say it's actually made out of a grip bin. I had to disappoint them and say no, sadly.
But it just shows that wacky world that the history of kit cars gives us.
Yeah, and the alternative cars market, it's just, it's mad. But it's brilliantly bad. Like, you wouldn't be able to get away with making something like this now, but I'm glad it exists.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. And going from one extreme to the other, we've got the Sebring over here. Now,
yes.
You could almost argue this was not quite, but sort of the English Cobra, which was the Austin Healey.
Yeah.
And this is obviously a recreation, but I noticed it's got a small block Chevy V8 under it. But as what the kit car industry can do, it's not a replica, is it? Because it's got slightly flared arches and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so like, I mean, to be fair, I guess it's a bit ahead of its time. Because, today you see in the mainstream industry, they're doing sort of resto mod things. You see the Singer Porsches. It's sort of like that idea. It's not based on an original car. I mean, it's got a proper separate chassis. Underneath, it's not dissimilar to what a lot of the Cobra manufacturers were doing at the time. Sebring were a super popular manufacturer. They are still around, but they don't produce kits, and it's a new company. We can't really get into that because they're doing lots of exciting things, and I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. But yeah, I think it's a great looking thing. It's a lot of fun. This car is actually for sale. I don't know if it will be at the time of this goes out, but yeah, I just think what a thing.
I agree, and I think it's just you would turn up at a classic car show on that, and you certainly wouldn't get turned away, would you?
Oh, absolutely not. No. Despite the plate.
Well, let's skip over that bit.
Yeah.
So going from one extreme to the other, we're going back into the mid 60s here.
It's like early 50s, like late 50s, early 60s. Like Rochdale produced many cars, but this, in many people's views, is the most important one. And it's a very important car for many reasons, but one of them is it's got a GRP monocoque. There's a lot of arguments over who did it first, Lotus or Rochdale. Neither's correct, because it's actually the very first Berkeley microcars before they moved to a sandwich aluminium structure. But yeah, this was a really revolutionary car, and to be honest, it was probably more of a kit car. To be honest, it was probably more of a kit car in those days for purchase tax reasons, and it being cheaper that way. But although Rochdale did have a history of making Ford-based, like Ford pop-based specials before this, but yeah, I think it's a terrific looking thing. It's a piece of history, and even though it's so revolutionary compared to the Lotus Elite and stuff like that, value-wise they're a lot lower than they deserve to be. So that's part of why we wanted to put on this display, was sort of boost the idea of classic kit cars. A lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about classic kit cars, but there's cars like this, especially when they have a loving owner that's rebuilt them properly, they're a great thing and really enjoyable thing. And maybe young sort of enthusiasts that are thinking about building up a collection, these are the sort of things maybe to start investing in now that the rest of the market's gone absolutely crazy.
I see where you're coming from. Yeah. I see where you're coming from completely. Now, we're jumping backwards and forwards very much here, because over here is a car that has a lot of history with Complete Kit Car magazine.
Yeah, a lot of history with Complete Kit Car magazine, and also this chap who drove it rather regularly.
And despite the fact it looks like Postman Pat's van, it is actually a Spartan Trekker.
Yep, that's correct, yeah.
Fiesta based.
Yes.
From sort of early 1980s, I think.
Sort of late 80s, early 90s, I believe. You can't quote me on that. I tried to stay clued up, but years and stuff like this can be difficult. But yeah.
But this was back in the day, because I know Ian Stent very well, and there was
Stentonetta.
that you had this as a bit like a Top Gear challenge, wasn't it? We find two £500 kit cars. This was Adams. And Ian, as you said, had a Ginetta G26, I think it was.
It's amazing that they managed to do it back then, because imagine trying to pick up a kit car, get it roadworthy for £500 today. It just wouldn't be possible. No. Even something like this. And I don't want to be too disparaging of this, because the owner loves it. He's updated it. It's now got a Fiesta XR2 engine. He drives it everywhere. He's super passionate about it. And whatever you think about it, it does turn heads.
Oh,
people enjoy it.
Yeah,
Kids run up to it. They think it is Postman Pat's van. And that's part of what makes kit cars so cool and classic kit cars so cool, is you're being a bit flash, you're being original, but not in a too flashy sort of, like I love the Ferraris and things like that, but I quite like being different, and I think cars like this really sort of encapsulate what's so important about keeping the market going and just getting people interested in cars like this, because there's not many cars like this.
And I agree that the other thing with this car I love is the way he's kept all the old stickers on it from the challenge and that. It's got that real patina.
Did break down on the way here. I don't think Alex will mind me saying that, and I don't know if that's a really good advert with this on the side of the road as he's trying to refit an exhaust. But yeah, we love the fact he's keeping the CKC thing going with it. Because yeah, we still talk about this in the office from time to time. We don't know what's happened to Stent's Ginetta, but...
Probably for the best, that one.
Yeah.
Now, for when people talk about kit cars, buggies are a big part of it, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Volkswagen Beetle, generally shortened floor pan, Beetle engine sticking out the back and a fiberglass body dropped on top. Simple as it gets. Yeah,
I mean, the beach buggy might be the most successful original kit car design of all time. Obviously, the Myers Manx, Bruce Myers. He famously lost a lot of money because there was a lot of copycats, but as a way of life, the beach buggy it's bigger than kit cars. It's the Volkswagen scene, it's the kit car scene, and people just love. It's a Steve McQueen. It's people just love these. They're just their own entity, and I just love the fact that the owners are happy to see them as kit cars, because that's not always the case with certain classic kit cars and stuff. But the beach buggy scene is huge, and we just love being a part of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then very much from the California style back to very much the British style, Marlin manufacturer that was around for an awful long time and had a really broad range of cars in the respect of they were used from like high performance BMW based ones back to the early ones that are used as trial cars.
Triumph,
and always known for a very strong chassis as well, weren't they?
Yeah, no, these were, Marlin were, I mean, they're still sort of around. We don't really know what's happening with Marlin right now. But yeah, I mean, a huge brand, and we sort of wanted this to come along because we're in Malvern. Obviously, Morgan's around the corner.
Yep.
And these were a genuine rival, like obviously not the same price point, but this was what people went for instead. And yeah, like the retro roadster industry it's sort of waned off a bit now. You know, the way the market's going. I think it's such a shame because I'd love like designs like this to come back.
This, the other one that jumps out at me is JBA Falcon. I always thought that was a really nice, cohesive design that wasn't particularly based on anything. It just had a good look about it.
Even the Spartan Roadster, cars like that, there's just something about them, and I just think, I'd love. It's not, you know, just like hit the apex sort of sports car. It's a go out into the countryside, go touring, go to the pub, and and I just think it's still a great looking design today.
And to finish off, we're back with a Beetle base.
Yep.
And this, for the people that don't know, is a Nova. See, with the lift-up canopy.
Yeah, the lift-up canopy. I was once trapped under one of these when the mechanism wasn't working properly. Thankfully, this one is working properly. But yeah, I mean, this is an iconic design. It's a throwback to an era where the industry was just making basically concept cars for the road. You know, it's what the other manufacturers couldn't make, and there's a bit of an irony here that it's sort of it's super futuristic, but underneath it's an air-cooled Volkswagen platform and stuff like that. Well, but the club are fine with that. Like it's a Richard Oakes design. It's going to always be brilliant.
It is what it is.
This is a very nice example.
And let's be honest, we do remember an era where there were Lamborghini Countach Lamborghini Countach replicas based on Beetles. So.
Yeah, I mean, I do think we have to have a sense of humour about our history at times, because I guess there's some really good stuff's coming along. But I also think, and I mean, the Nova is a really good kit. It's really good quality, really strong GRP. But what I love about this is that you can't get cars like this anywhere else, unless you're lucky enough to be rich enough to buy a concept car. But they tend not to work, so you'd have to put your own Beetle floor pan under that anyway. So,
and again, you can't buy a car like this really from even apart from somebody like Morgan.
Yeah, somebody like Morgan, and you'll be in for a long wait, probably longer than it'd take you to build something like this. You know,
so there are great opportunities. Well, Jack, thank you so much. It's been really interesting to go around because there weren't some of these I wasn't so sure about the background to them. So it's been a great learning curve, and I hope you guys at home have enjoyed it as well. And we'll catch up with you hopefully in the near future for this Hall of Fame, which I believe you are going to try and grow.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to do something. At least as a magazine, we're going to do something to try and bring up the classic kit cars, because there's a lot of interest there. I mean, you can go out there and you'll see tons and tons of classic kit cars.
Yep.
But we want to sort of give people a bit of a hand, because it's sort of financially it doesn't make any sense for a lot of these sort of cars, and we sort of need the values to go up a bit just to keep people restoring them, because I mean the Novas do hold their value well, but thinking about other mini kits and Volkswagen kits and Ford Escort based kits in particular, there's a lot of these kit cars are getting broken up to restore the donors.
Very much, yeah.
And there's a full circle element to that, but once these cars are gone, they are gone, so we do need to protect them.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Jack.
Thank you.
And if you've enjoyed that, please give that subscribe button a bit of a click. Done.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for that. Sorry if I rambled on a bit.
No. Rambling was fine.
Okay.
Moving around.
So would I do do you remember the digital and web skit?
Yeah.
Like planes all around. Yeah.
Where am I going? I'm trying to keep you in as you're talking and trying to keep the car in and thinking, where can I stand? Will you stand still for a minute?
I genuinely get excited when I'm around these.